Super glad to have everybody here today. I'm looking forward to sharing this with you. And yeah, so what we're going to be talking about is marriage basic training. So, essential skills for a happy marriage. There's really not a ton of skills that you have to have. And we're going to go over all of them right here today. So, who this is for? So, this for you if you want to learn what it takes to have a happy marriage. So, this is also for you if you believe in Christian principles like integrity, honesty, doing what's right. If you're here because you just want some kind of like tricks to like trick your wife into having more sex with you or something like that, or like manipulate her, this is not the right place for you. This presentation is geared towards men. It's for men. I know there are a couple women on here, which is fine. Just understand we're going to be saying like your wife and all that, so you'll have to kind of translate that in your head to your husband. Um, this is for you, even if you're just kind of considering getting married, if you're kind of looking for, what it takes to have a good marriage. If this is for you, you've been married for 7 days or 70 years, doesn't matter. The principles are going to be the same. This is for you if your marriage is in serious trouble. Maybe you're talking about divorce right now. Maybe you're already separated or talking about separation. Maybe there's been an affair, emotional or a physical affair. Maybe you're hearing, I love you, but I'm not in love with you. Or you're falling out of love, or you feel like you're just roommates, or that feeling just isn't there anymore. Or maybe you're dealing with pornography. Or maybe, you don't have any really huge marriage issues. Your marriage, you'd say, is okay, but you feel like you're kind of doing more than your fair share. You feel like it's unfair. You feel like it's maybe you're a little resentful, right? Or maybe your marriage is okay, but the sex isn't where you want it to be. It's not great. Or maybe you're even divorced and you're just looking to learn from those past mistakes. Look, no matter what's going on, you are in the right place, and I'm glad you're here. You're going to learn what it takes. Okay. So, what's in it for you? All right. So, over the next 45 minutes, you're going to learn the 5 basic skills that you have to create a happy marriage. Okay. We're going to be moving fast. So, go ahead and take notes, or, have some not take notes, or some people find it easier to just grab a screenshot of what's on the screen. So, at the end of the presentation, I'm going to tell you about my program where you can practice these skills and get coaching so that you learn them quickly and correctly. And you'll be able to, by doing that, you'll be able to save years of stress, resentment, and pain that otherwise you'd go through without learning these skills. So, and I'll tell you from experience, right? I went many years experiencing lots of pain in my marriage that didn't have to be there. I want to save you some of that by teaching you these things. So you're going to start creating the type of marriage you've always wanted, one where you really feel like you've won the lottery each day, where you're like, man, I'm just the luckiest man alive to have this marriage. Where your wife says, I can't believe how lucky I am to be married to you. And you're saying that too. I can't believe I'm so lucky to be married to you. Where she says to your sons, I want you to be just like your dad when you grow up. And that you would feel good about that, that your boys grow up to be like you. And your daughters would say, or your wife would say to your daughters, I want you to marry someone just like your dad. And you feel good about that. You'd want your daughters to marry someone like you. And you have the kind of sex life that you've always wanted, that you've been dreaming of, that's about intimacy and connection. So, why can I help you? Who am I? So, I went to BYU. I studied neuroscience there. So, the brain, how it works. Went to UCLA Medical School after that, got my degree there, my MD degree. I went through psychiatry residency, got advanced training in all kinds of different types of therapy. Had some really great mentors there. I got advanced training in couples therapy as well there. Went on to study more about coaching and went through lots of workshops and things like that. Probably most importantly though is, I'm married myself. I've been married over 15 years now. My wife and I, we have 5 children. So, we had to just, a lot of this is just from my own pain, right? Trying to figure out my own solutions. So, some of you might know my wife was a victim of sex trafficking by her family for many years, and so that created some issues for us. Trust was a big issue. Sex was a big issue. A lot of times, she struggled with depression and anxiety, and it was hard. It was really hard for many years. There were times where I felt like I would literally go to my car and just like scream because I felt like I could not take it like it was anymore. I felt used. I felt resentful. I felt like I was doing way more than my fair share, and not getting like anything that I wanted. In fact, at one point we went over a year with zero physical intimacy. And it was at that point that I was like, man, I found myself thinking about other women and fantasizing that way, and I knew I didn't want to do that. I had to do something, so I really went on this journey to figure out what creates an incredible marriage. And I finally figured it out. And that's why I'm so excited to share with you guys, and I've been able to share with other guys too. So now I love my marriage. We're having better sex than we've ever had now, even with that history. And so, like, if we can figure it out, you guys can too. So this is something she posted just after our 15th anniversary on Facebook. I did an anniversary party for us, and she says at the end, "Ladies, there are good men out there. Keep looking for them. Men, be like my Michael, the best man that I know." It's like, that's the best endorsement I can show you, for why I can help you. So guys, I helped myself. Invested 15 years, $300,000 plus in training. A lot of that's medical school, but even beyond that, lots of other stuff. I got the result that I wanted, and I've helped other men do the same thing. This video, this is one of the guys that I was able to help.
Hello, everybody. I'm Aaron Hook, and I just wanted to tell you my story and what the system's done for me. 3 years ago, my wife and I had been married for 5 years, 2 kids together with 2 teenage boys or preteen boys. Me and her started to drift apart, and I had had some indiscretion. I had an affair, a physical affair with a woman. My wife, in 2017, I discovered that she had been talking to somebody and had an emotional affair. My world came falling down around me. I was caught in a sea of despair. I used to not understand how people could become suicidal. And that spring, I discovered just how people could. I got brought to such a low point in my life that I wanted to end it. My wife was still telling me that she wanted a divorce. She wanted to move out. She actually retained an attorney. My life still looked pretty bleak, and I was being faced with being a weekend father and seeing my kids every other week, and I'm not that kind of guy. I did everything in my power to change her. None of that worked, and that's a key point that the system showed me. It showed me what I could change, the positive changes that I could make in my own life, and the way that I seen things. It was like completely going through a revamp of my brain and my heart. Truly gave me a practical way of applying biblical principles. And I know some of you out there don't believe in God. There's the application to you as well. But as for me, this truly brought me closer to the Lord. It brought me to understand that I can love myself, even in the midst of what I had done, and all of the things that I was guilty of, and being self-righteous toward her over. Since the system, I'm trying not to get emotional, but my life has been improved and enhanced in so many ways, from the pits of hell, basically, to what it is today. Me and my wife are planning another trip up to Gatlinburg, and it was at her request. Something I thought she would never do again, because she had an extreme hatred towards me. And so this weekend, I'm trying to get things together, trying to get my garden in order and get somebody to take care of it, because this weekend we're going to go off on a romantic weekend, and just enjoy our time. And I'm still working the system. I think I'll be doing it for the rest of my life, and I'll be on here to grow and change, and to mentor anybody that needs help or that's going through a similar situation. Don't hesitate to direct message me. Just thanks for listening to me, and man, the system works if you work it.
All right, so man, I love Aaron. He's just such a good example of what can happen. All right, so let's get into it. What are the skills? What does it take? So the first skill we're going to be talking about today is communication. You are here because something is not going quite how you want in your marriage. So it could be something you're happy with in your marriage, like money, sex, in-laws, parenting, religion. Maybe you're just not quite being appreciated the way that you'd like. So the first thing you probably tried is to sort of like prime the pump. Okay. You tried to, speak your wife's love language by spending more time with her, giving her gifts, uh, giving her acts of service, or words of affirmation, sending her notes, doing all that kind of thing. What you noticed was maybe it worked for a little bit, but the favor wasn't returned, or at least it wasn't returned quite how you were hoping it would be, right? So, um, what you're communicating in this case is basically, I did this for you, and now you owe it back to me, right? Like, okay, I shared with you, I was nice to you, I did what you were hoping for. I sent you the note, but you didn't give it back. Um, so that's not attractive, guys. It's pushy. It's manipulative. Okay, it's being what I call a mosquito, right? You're doing nice things, but there's a string attached to that. You want something back for it. Okay. So eventually you get kind of tired of this unfair cycle. Okay. It feels unfair to you and you end up blowing up. Okay. So maybe that looks like you tell her, look, I've been doing everything for you and you're not doing anything for me. So like you need to start, appreciating me more. You need to tell me what a good job I'm doing, or we need to have sex more. Right. And things change for a little bit, but then you kind of feel bad about that. You're like, man, I probably shouldn't have acted that way. You apologize. And then you start kind of doing more things for her again. You start uh, doing the dishes more, or trying to help her more. Okay. And then maybe you do something like you get revenge. Maybe you're mad, you have an affair or you have another relationship, um, to kind of get back at her. Okay. So that's one way some guys go. Another way that guys will go is to get depressed and hopeless. Like, man, I'm trying so much, nothing ever works. I've tried so hard, tried so long, it's just not happening. It's not working for me. So maybe you turn to pornography for a sexual release, right? Maybe not to another woman, but to pornography. Or maybe you turn to food or video games, or you just start like working really hard for a distraction, to get yourself away from these difficult feelings of resentment and unfairness and hopelessness and sadness. So here's the thing, we're talking about communication here. What we're communicating is, it's not so much our words, right, that matter. They matter some, but what matters more is what's behind them, the intention that we have, what's who we are behind the words. So what you're communicating through all of this is that you can't manage your own emotions, and it's your job to make me happy. Okay, you're not making me happy, so I can't be happy. Okay, I'm going to turn to these other things to try to make me happy. I can't manage myself in a grown up way. Okay, so it's not attractive. It feels awful, and it really is hopeless, because if you are saying, look, my wife has to change so that I can be happy, you're putting all the power in her hands. Okay, it is hopeless because you don't have any power in that situation. Okay, so what do you do instead? So you choose the type of husband that you want to be. Okay. If you want to be the type of husband that serves your wife, great. But you do that because that's who you want to be, for you, for God, for your kids, for whatever, not just for her. Okay. You don't want to be that so that she will then respond in a certain way. Okay. If you're doing that, you're trying to change her. She can sense that. She doesn't like it, and it's not attractive. It's not going to work. Okay. What you're trying to communicate, instead of, hey, I did this for you, now, I scratch your back, now scratch mine. What you're trying to communicate is, I want to serve you because I want to be that kind of husband. So you want to just communicate that. Your wife, she senses that truth, right? She knows if it's true that you're being that kind of guy just because you want to be that kind of guy. And she's more attracted to you because of it. Okay. So this is the paradox of love, right? With most things in life, you go after it, and that's how you get it. That's how you bring it to you. So you want more attention, you want more sex, right? You're like, hey, I want more sex, I want more attention. Um, but in love, it's when you don't really need it as much, or when you're not trying to get that directly, is when you actually start getting it. So when you come to your wife, and so like I got my wife flowers one time, and when I gave them to her, I was hoping she would be happy about it, and she wasn't. And so I kind of melted down and got upset and frustrated, right? um, and so I kind of showed that I wasn't really doing it for the right reason, so that wasn't attractive. But when I started like doing the dishes just because I wanted the house clean, right? Then she started giving me more attention. She started saying, "Oh, like, this is different," because she senses it's for that reason. It's because I want to be a partner at home. It's because I want to be a helper, right? All right. So this is what I call the mosquito cycle. Okay. So you do something nice for your wife, but um, and usually it's at your own expense too, right? You're doing stuff that you don't really maybe want to be doing that much. So you hope for a positive response. And then when you don't get it, you start getting resentful, which doesn't give you that attention, appreciation, or affection. So then you explode, you get revenge, or you give up. Okay. And then eventually you kind of go back to the same thing. And it's just a bad cycle to be in. So mosquitoes get swatted, they're not attractive. So instead, decide who you want to be and go for that. All right. So the next skill is honesty, which builds trust. So the mosquito cycle, really, it's all about dishonesty. Trust, you make that by making and keeping promises. Okay. And by telling the truth, even when it's difficult. And that's kind of the tricky part about it. Okay. So usually we're gonna lie because we're trying to hide something bad that we did, like an affair or pornography or something like that, or maybe overspending or something like that, or to get what we want, which is the mosquito cycle, where we do this, but it's to get something back, or to try to keep the peace, right? We don't bring something up because we just don't want to rock the boat. Okay. So in the mosquito cycle, you're lying because of those hidden motivations, those strings attached that you're not really showing. Um, some people call it a covert contract. Robert Glover calls it that. That you have this contract, but you don't tell anybody about it. So if you had an affair, right, you've told tons of lies to cover that up. Or pornography, usually you're lying about that. You're not telling anybody what's going on, and you've broken huge promises to be faithful, right? That's a big promise to break. Now, this is a big one. If you're feeling resentful, okay, you're lying by not bringing up what's truly important to you. Okay, so if you really feel like you're doing more than your share of the housework, but you're not telling anybody that, and you're just kind of saying like, well, I'll keep doing it, and hopefully someday my husband will return the favor, and hopefully he'll see this and see I'm doing more than my work, or my wife, sorry, my wife is, my wife will see this and return the favor. Okay, you're lying. You're not bringing up what's really important. So some men, they'll bring up a problem like not having enough sex, but they'll do it in an ineffective way. Okay. Right. They'll come up and they'll say something like, look, we're not having enough sex. I want to have more sex. Then their wife will say something like, well, it's just really hard on me. And then you feel stuck, right? You don't feel like you know where to go from there. Um, so we'll get into what to do next. But the other way that we lie to ourselves a lot is by thinking that we're just like an amazing husband who does everything so good and very little wrong. And our wife's so lucky to be married to us. Like that's how I used to think for a long time. Really, that's lying to yourself and to her because you're not seeing the negative things you're doing, how you're contributing to the negative parts of your marriage. So the skill is being honest even when it's hard. So you got to start by being brutally honest with the ways in which you have really been awful to your wife. If you're using pornography, that is a serious problem. Don't minimize it, right? If you've had an affair, that's huge. If you're just treating her in a way that is this mosquito way, being manipulative, being dishonest, okay, that's all a big deal. So don't try to pretend like it's not, like I did for a lot of years. Okay, learn from my mistakes, realize how bad it is. Look at how you've hurt her, what you've hid from her, how much you really have damaged her by acting in the ways that you have. Okay, realize that the ways that you're a villain and not the hero, how you've actually hurt her. Okay, once you realize that, now you can go somewhere. Okay, most guys will be like, oh, like I had an affair, now I said sorry, let's move forward, or sure, I was approaching sex in a bad way, but now I'm doing it better, so let's move forward. No, you've got to really see how bad it was. Okay, you want to seek feedback and not forgiveness. Okay, so for example, if you notice yourself in that mosquito cycle where you're cleaning the dishes but it's so your wife will have sex with you, right? Instead of saying, hey, I've done that, I'm sorry, what you're going to do instead is you're going to say, look, that's awful. I don't want to be that guy. What I want you to do is really call me out and tell me when you see that. I'm going to try to see it in myself, but you might see it more clearly. So please let me know. Okay. So that's feedback versus forgiveness, which is just like, hey, I'm sorry, and let's move forward. Okay. When you minimize it, okay, you're just making things worse. You also want to earn trust back instead of asking for it. So again, same principle here. You made mistakes, you apologize, but you don't say, okay, let's just trust me, I'm not going to do it again. No, you say, I broke your trust. You shouldn't trust me. I need to earn it back over time. That's what I'm asking you for. Can I have the chance to earn it back? Okay. So whether that's with pornography or an affair or something more minor like this mosquito cycle. Now, a lot of guys, they think this is going to make things worse, right? Man, should I really tell her that I've been looking at pornography, or should I really tell her that, I've been this jerk? Okay. Then she's really going to have ammunition to not want to be with me. But here's the thing: it never really makes things worse in the long term. In the short term, sure, she might say, "Wow, I didn't know that. Yeah, that's awful." But later, she begins to trust you, right? Later, you can start showing, "Yeah, I am a different person." Okay. Here's the thing too, she already knows these things. She already knows that you act in this way. She already suspects you've been hiding something. Okay. So when she sees that you also see them, when you can admit them, that's when she can start to trust you more. Not really before that. She has to really see that clearly. The other thing, bringing up what's upsetting you, like, hey, I really don't like it when you, make this certain food. I've said I have, but I'm sorry, I actually don't really like it. At first, again, that might kind of give her a little hit, right? But it starts building trust. It starts building that, hey, like, yeah, you are going to tell me when things are bad. So that now I can trust you when you say things are good. If you can never say that things are bad, your wife can't really trust that things are that good because you might be lying. Okay. All right. So being honest, that's skill two. That's what builds trust. So emotional management is skill three. So some of you guys are probably thinking, look, yeah, I've tried to tell my wife, what I want from her. I want more sex. I want more appreciation, but she just blows me off, or it turns into a big argument and nothing changes. Okay. So, you bring it to her, she's like, yeah, it's hard. Maybe I'll work on it. Maybe I won't. I'm sorry. And you just kind of drop it and you still are wanting more sex, but you don't know what to do. Okay. Or you start having that argument and then she's like, well, you want more sex? Well, maybe you should, be nicer to me. I am nice to you. Right. And it turns into this big thing. Um, Here's the thing: with all of this, you're putting her in charge of your happiness. That's the problem. What you're saying to her is, I can't find happiness for myself. You have to give it to me. Okay. So, and if you turn it into an argument, you're showing that you don't have control over your temper. Okay, you're like a little baby. Right? That's not attractive. It's not good. If you avoid the subject altogether, right, you show you can't handle it. Okay, if you just stop bringing it up, even though you're silently stewing and resenting it, okay, resenting her for what she's not doing, okay, you're showing that you can't really handle it. They're all childish. They're all unattractive. Okay, what you're communicating, again, going back to communication, is I can't handle my own emotions. That's not attractive, guys. It's not mature. So the skill is learning to manage your own emotions. So you need to stop trying to manage her, trying to make her happy, right? Coming back to that example of giving the flowers, I was trying to make her happy, but why? So that I could be happy, so that she could see me as a good husband. That's the issue, right? Trying to manipulate her view of me. Okay. So you need to stop making her responsible for your happiness. Okay. Same principle that we just talked about there. You also need to stop trying to run from difficult subjects to keep the peace. Okay, you need to be willing to rock the boat. You need to be willing to risk the relationship you have now to create the relationship that you want in the future. Okay, that does need to happen. You gotta stop numbing your emotions with pornography, food, video games, or work, and really learn to feel them and deal with them appropriately. Okay, that's the skill. Okay, now when you can do that, you are strong, you are attractive, you feel very solid about who you are as a person. The next thing you need to do is decide what you want from your wife. Okay, so let's say it's more sex, right? You want to have sex more often. So first of all, you go through all those first things to see how you are causing the problem, how you are a big part of the problem, and you need to adjust that, right? Manage your own emotions, address, be the kind of man you want to be, communicate clearly. Okay. Once you do that, now you can come in and ask for what you want, right? And then you need to decide what to do if you're not going to get it. This is the point where a lot of people fall off, right? They say, okay, I'm getting up the courage. I'm going to ask my wife. I'm going to tell her, I really want to have sex more often. So they go up there, they ask her. She says basically no. And then they're like, well, what do I do now? See, this is where you take the power back. You have to decide what you are going to do if she does not give you that request. Okay, it takes time to figure this out. You got to really ponder this. You got to really think, get some coaching, get some help to know what you are going to do. Something more simple might be like, like you want to split the dishes more evenly or split housework more evenly. So you say, hey, I would like to split it this way. She says no. Now you have to figure out, okay, well, what am I going to do? I could just not do the dishes. I could hire somebody else, right? Get a little creative. What are you going to do if she says no to your request? Okay, that brings the power back where it belongs, with you, right? So you don't feel stuck. So you got to take responsibility for your joy inside and outside of your marriage. Okay. If you're not happy in your marriage, you need to figure out why. You need to bring that up. You need to address it. First, though, you got to look at how you are contributing to the problem. Okay. That's what we talked about first. Okay. This feels strong and it's attractive because you're saying, look, I know what I want out of life. I'm going to get it. I know what I am going to do if I don't get it. Right. And I'm going to look very clearly at how I am causing the problem, how I'm part of the problem. All right. So skill 4, it's about time management. So a lot of people will say, "Oh man, I'm just not sure that I have time to, you know, to do all this, to, spend time with my wife or spend time with my kids or get my work done." Um, so this is an exercise I do with my clients. Why don't you take a minute and just picture your own funeral? A little bit morbid, but you'll find this useful. So, just think, okay, so imagine you're there, you're in the back of the church or wherever your funeral is, and people are gathering, there's people you love there, and your wife goes and stands up. Okay? So what do you want your wife to say about you when she stands up there? Just take a minute. If you've got some paper there, um, go ahead and write that down or jot it down on your phone or wherever you can. So give you about 20 seconds or so to think about that. Okay, so that is going to help guide when we go back to that idea, right? Of you got to decide the husband you want to be. Okay, this will help you figure that out, right? What do you want her to say about you at your funeral? That'll help you decide that's how I want to be. That's how I want to show up as a husband. Again, not just for her, but because that's who you want to be as a man. Okay. What about what do you want your kids to say about you? So your kids get up, they stand up. What do you want them to say about you? Right? There's more to go through on this exercise, but that'll kind of get you started. So a lot of men, they spend a lot of time working hard at their work, trying to provide financially for their family, but neglecting them emotionally, spiritually, mentally. Okay. And that comes across a lot of the guys that have been married 20, 30 years, and they come to me for help, and they're like, man, my wife says she's just not in love with me anymore, she's wanting a separation. Okay, this is usually what has happened, is that over time their wife has just felt like not a priority to them, and they just get tired of it, and they don't want to be married to someone that's not prioritizing them. Okay. Other men do the opposite. They take the opposite approach. They spend so much time trying to help their family and their wife and literally saying, I got to make her happy. I got to make her happy. Everything revolves around her. I can't do anything that might make her unhappy. Like, I remember for myself, I would like walk to my closet and just be asking myself, what piece of clothing, what shirt is my wife going to like more? Like, I couldn't decide for myself. I just had to, like, everything was about trying to make her happy. And so what that translated into was, losing my hobbies over time. Um, for some guys, I didn't lose my fitness, but for some guys, they start not taking care of themselves with their bodies. They stop spending time with friends. I definitely did that. They give up career opportunities that they could have that they really want. But for fear of bringing that up to their wife, right? They go to these opportunities that aren't quite a win for them. Okay. And so they just kind of slowly lose themselves over time. And that's sad. And it's not attractive. And it feels really bad because you're saying all the time, like, let me make my wife happy. I'm doing this for her. She can't see it. She's not appreciating it. We're not having sex. This is awful. And you just keep on like doubling down and losing yourself more. And guys, it's a bad trap. I was in it for a long time, but you don't have to be in it. Okay. So I want to present to you a new way to prioritize. Because right now you're saying, okay, maybe God's first and then my wife's next. Right. I used to think that way for a long time. But it kind of leads to this where you just kind of put everybody first and then you just kind of forget yourself. And it feels bad and it's counterintuitively not attractive to her. That's how you can get in this situation where, yeah, you're a good roommate and a good provider, but you're not a lover. It's not, there's no passion there. Okay. So here's a new way to think about it: me, we, family. I got this from a guy who's a very successful businessman. One of his mentors taught him this. Um, so me, we, and then family. So what does that mean? It means bring joy and health to yourself first in body, mind, heart, and spirit. You take care of yourself first in those ways. Okay. Why? Okay. Because if you don't have a strong, positive relationship with yourself and with God, it's going to be really hard to have a strong, positive relationship with your wife, with your kids, with friends and family. Okay. You fill yourself up in this way. Now you are primed to go out and really serve with your whole self. Okay. And guys, it takes less time than you really think it might to do this. Here's what it means to me, right? Putting self-care first means you do some mental and spiritual work about 15 minutes a day. You know, maybe that's praying, maybe that's reading scriptures, maybe that's just reading uplifting material. Okay. You get your mind and your spirit in that good place. Okay, maybe it's listening to podcasts or books that you really like. Okay. You take about 30 minutes of physical exercise a day. Take care of that physical body. It's so important. Okay. About once a week, you connect with friends. Okay, that maybe takes an hour or so a week. I play tennis with a buddy on Saturdays. That's mine. Okay, and some time on a hobby. So that kind of does both for me, where I can work on a hobby, something that's fun for me, and spend time with a friend. And you can do that, right? You combine them, and so it takes even less time because you're doing more than one at once. Maybe you exercise with the friends, and now you've got friend plus exercise. Um, but guys, you do that first. You plug that into your calendar first. You take care of that first. Okay. So this man, right, that takes care of himself, that feels solid, that's healthy in body, mind, heart, and spirit, that has relationships and things he does outside the family, fills himself up, comes back full instead of draining himself completely and then trying to come to the family drained and resentful because he's not taking care of himself. Okay. So you do that first. Then you prioritize time with your wife. Okay. Then your kids after that. So me, we, family. So it really doesn't take that much time. Again, a quick message to your wife today. Hey, I'm thinking about you, right? 10 seconds to do that. Okay. A few minutes of one-on-one time each day. Hey, let's talk, honey. How's your day? What happened? Right? Trying to really understand her at a deep level. It's another skill of communication is being able to understand first, right? Deeply understand. Right. So that's like 10 minutes out of 16 hours in a day, right? That you're spending this one-on-one connection time. And then you do a longer one-on-one time each week, like a date night. Okay. Now, some of you, right, you might be in a situation where your wife does not want to do that right now. She doesn't want to do a date in life. She doesn't really want to connect in this way. That's okay, right? Practice this in other ways or serve her in ways that are more physical, right? So you spend 10 minutes just doing something nice for her, cleaning something, a meal, something like that. Okay. So, guys, this is about 3 hours out of 112 hours that you're awake in a week. Okay. You can do it, right? You can totally do it. So don't make excuses, just make it happen. Okay, prioritize me, we, family. All right, so skill 5 is sex. So a lot of men, they complain about the lack of sex in their marriage. Okay, but so usually they approach sex with their wife in a way kind of like this. So they'll walk up to their wife and like grab her privates in the middle of the day. They'll grab her breasts, they'll grab her butt, they'll grab her crotch, right? And then your wife's like, whoa, I'm not really ready for that. I don't really want that. Just grab their wives and just start making out with her out of nowhere. Okay. Or, they'll roll over in bed, say something like, hey, are you in the mood? Okay. No real build up to it. They'll just kind of ask for it. And what this represents really is that you feel entitled to sex with your wife. You feel like you deserve it. You feel like she owes it to you. Okay. And that kind of comes back to this idea of the happy wife, happy life thing too, right? Where you're saying stuff like, um, you know, basically, uh, like, I'm going to do these nice things for you, and now you owe it back. Like, in a way, it's really treating her like a prostitute, right? You're kind of saying, okay, I did this for you, now you owe it back to me. I kind of bought this, right? So we don't want to approach it like that. Or guys, they'll turn every physical touch into something sexual. So your wife gives you a hug, then you start grabbing her butt or, feeling her up. Okay. This leads to her then wanting to sort of not have any physical touch at all. Okay. And now this is what a lot of guys complain about. Man, we don't have any kind of physical touch. And their wife's saying, well, yeah, because you always want to turn it into sex. Okay. This is what guys kind of don't understand sometimes. All right. So then guys, they start getting upset when their wife turns down these pretty lame advances, sexual advances. Um, but again, they kind of feel entitled to them. I did this for a long time, guys. So you kind of feel entitled to them. And, that's what's unattractive. So, you know, you get upset. You're like, oh, you never want to have sex. And you turn away, like you pout. You say, hey, are you in the mood? You're always like, oh, I'm kind of tired. I have a headache. Then you like storm out of the room. Right. And then you come back in and she's like, okay, fine. We can do it. And so that's like pity sex, right? You kind of guilted her into it. And that's not good, right? So it's a common strategy, but it's not one you're ever going to see in a chick flick. Okay. It's not one you're ever going to see where, a woman's like, man, I really loved how we had sex last night. My husband, he walked away pouting. And then I said, okay, fine. Oh, it was so good. Like, that was the best sex we ever had. Right. Never going to happen. So you need to learn a new way to approach this. Okay. So in marriage, real intimacy, it starts with deeply understanding your wife. Okay. Body, mind, heart, and spirit. What's going on with her? What's important to her? It means valuing her opinions, even if you don't necessarily agree. Okay. Like, really, the big skill in marriage is being able to understand where she's at, understand where you're at, and find things that really work for both of you. That's with sex, that's with kids, that's with the religion, that's with everything, right? That's the key. Okay. So sex is a great place to try to figure this out, because this is where you have to find something that works for both of you for it to work long term. Okay. I mean, yeah, the pity sex, it kind of works, but really it doesn't. It shows that there's this bad dynamic in there of feeling like obligated to have sex, which isn't a good way to go about it. So again, it starts with valuing her opinions, even if it's just talking about sex. Hey, where are you at? What is it about the way I'm approaching that's not attractive? What we talked about now will probably give you some good insight into that. So it also starts by being attractive, by being honest, right? That we've talked about, communicating well, managing your own emotions, okay? Prioritizing your joy and your mission in life, being a man that is in charge of who he is, right? That feels solid, that's strong in body, mind, heart, and spirit, okay? When you do all of that, now you're in a great place to approach sex. So from there, now she wants to be seduced, okay? She wants to be desired, okay? Flirted with, having fun, right? Teasing, okay? Kissed, touched, having her face held, having her hair brushed out of her face. These are the, you know, just connection moments that show, like, I care about you. That's what you want sex to really communicate is, look, I care about you. I love you. I want to be with you in this way. Let's get to know each other in this very intimate way. Okay. And you show that first by being intimate in these other areas. All right. So I put this picture here because I can't tell you how many women have told me how much they like this picture. And so this is just kind of the way women like want to be kissed, want to be approached, right? Saying, look, I care about you. I have you. I love you, right? I desire you. Okay. And then once you are in the moment, you want to understand female anatomy, how all that works so that you can make it an enjoyable experience for her. So you understand that. Now, of course, she has to take responsibility as well. She has to take responsibility for her own sexuality and what works for her. But like, you also need to understand just the basics of how things work. Okay. All right, guys. So bringing it all together, these are the essential skills for a happy marriage. There's not that many of them. Okay. You want to communicate the husband that you want to be and really be an expert in communication, understanding her, expressing yourself, finding things that work for both of you. You want to build trust through honesty. Okay. Even when it's difficult, even when you have to expose that you haven't been the best husband, even when you have to show up and say, I'm not okay with this. Okay. That's what builds trust. You need to manage your time correctly. Okay. In a way that helps you get to the type of person that you want to be. You need to manage your own emotions, not hers. Don't try to make her happy. Okay. Be the kind of guy you want to be. And don't rely on her to manage yours. Find your passion and joy inside and outside the marriage. Fight for yourself. If stuff isn't working for you, bring it up, but in a way that is productive and useful. And then create an amazing sex life, okay, by learning how to approach it and having the skills to do it. Okay, guys, it's simple. It's doable. It's skill based. These are all skills you can build and learn 100%. Okay, they're skills. You can practice them, you can learn them, right? All right, guys. So that's the end of the presentation. Okay, the end of the free training. So you can go ahead and jump off if you want. Or now what I'm going to do is I'm going to tell you about my program that's going to show you exactly how to build these skills. All right. So you can do it quickly and effectively instead of just kind of trying it on your own. You got some good tips today. You can definitely go and try them, but you'll be able to do it a lot quicker and more effectively if you have some more details on this, and a lot faster than you could do it on your own. Okay. It's, it's going to save you, years of heartache and pain and trial and error and kind of suffering that you don't need to have. So marriage basic training, that's the name of it. Okay. So once a week for 6 weeks, you're going to get one marriage skill to work on. It's going to be delivered straight to your inbox, right? It's simple. Okay. I'm keeping this as simple as possible for you. Okay. It's going to be a video tutorial and then an action plan. So you know exactly what to do and exactly how to do it each week. Lessons, they're about 20 minutes long. So you're not stuck watching modules all day. I really want to make this, I've really thought hard about the 80, if you've heard of the 80-20 rule, like 20% of your efforts create 80% of your results. So I've really looked at, of all the work that I've done in my own marriage with couples, what really helps move the needle, what helps them get results, consolidate it and put it into these short trainings. Okay. The other thing this does, it keeps you out of this learning mode and into action mode, because it's really easy to sit back and listen to a podcast or listen to a book and say, oh yeah, those are good ideas. And then you go on to the next idea. Oh yeah, that's a good idea. And then you don't do any of them. Okay. It's really easy to do that. So this strategy, it's like, no, do this one thing this week, follow through, get feedback, build the skill. Okay. You're going to be building a new strength and skill each week, and just one, so you don't get overwhelmed. All right. Again, lessons are going to show you exactly what to work on and in the best order so you get the best results. So guys, what's it worth, right? What would it be worth to know for good how to create an incredible marriage? Okay? To wake up each day feeling like the luckiest man alive, right? That you're like, man, I love being married. I love my family. To go into work with confidence, swagger, knowing that you're doing what you are meant to be doing in the world. Okay, then you come home at night. You have your wife greet you with a hug and kiss. She looks at you with love and desire. She wants to be with you. She's happy you're home. To have her brag to your kids, her family, and her friends about you, saying, man, like, my husband's so great. Your dad's so great, right? To be best friends and passionate lovers, right? Have that connection, not just a friendship, but also that intimate, passionate connection, right? So what's that worth, right? What's that worth to you? Would that be worth as much as your house? That's $100,000 to $1 million, depending on your house. Okay. I mean, would you rather move to a smaller house and have that family life? Okay. Would it be worth that? Or as much as your car, right? If you knew you had to take the bus, but you knew that when you got off the bus, you would come home to a family like this and a life like this, would that be worth it to you? Right? What would you give? Like, what would you give up to have that kind of marriage and that kind of life? Okay. Really, it's priceless. But I'm not going to charge you $1 million for the basic training. So you're going to get all 6 modules. They're going to teach you all the skills that you need to create the strong, joyful, happy, passionate marriage. Okay, for $1,000. That's it, $1,000. Or if you'd rather, 3 payments of $397. So what you can do right now, you can head over to happymarriage.securecheckout.net and get signed up. Right? You can jump in right now. So you join us now. You're going to get instant access to a bonus module that's going to build your self-confidence. Okay, this one's huge because a lot of this has to do with trying to manage our sense of self through our wife, right? So instead of that, this is going to teach you, how do I really get a strong sense of self that is based on something eternal, God, right? Something that's going to be able to fill me up at all times. Your wife can't fill you up all the time, but God can. Okay, it's going to teach you how to do that. Okay, people that buy now, they show that they're action takers, they're leaders, okay, they're innovators. That is attractive, right? Being an action taker, that's attractive. So go ahead and send me a message on the chat when you sign up. All right. So outside of the modules, here's what else you're going to get. All right. So with online learning, it can be easy to sign up for a program and then like not touch it for months or years or even like ever look at it. Okay. So, you know, you don't have the dedicated time and accountability that you can get with a live class. So you lose the ability to ask your questions in the moment with online learning. So for this group, right, this group that signs up this time, you're going to have the option to attend each session live. Okay, they're going to be at the same time, Monday to 10 Pacific. So you get the benefits of that like boot camp experience where you're there in person, but you do it from the convenience of your own home. So you get that option if you sign up with this group. So head over happymarriage.securecheckout.net. I'm going to put it in the chat here too. So you've got the link. Just pull it up here. All right, so I'm typing the link in here so you guys can click on it. All right, so it's in there and you guys can click right on there and jump right over to it. All right, so again, take action now. Send me a message when you sign up. So this next bonus is a huge one, okay? So with this, you're learning a new skill, okay? And the modules are going to tell you exactly how to build the skills that you need. But, you'll try them and you're going to get lost sometimes, right? You're going to fail sometimes. It's normal. You're going to be confused sometimes on how to apply it to your specific situation. So that's why I'm offering unlimited email coaching throughout the course. Okay. So you can send me an email anytime, right? Say, hey, I'm struggling with this. You'll get an answer. So just like you learned a sport faster with a coach to guide you, you're going to learn the essential skills for a happy marriage faster when you do have a coach, right? So you never have to feel stuck or have a question go unanswered. And it's private. Okay. So you can send that email. I mean, if your email is your name, I'll know your name. But if your email is something else, like you don't even have to sign your name if you don't want. It can be basically anonymous. You can even set up a new email if you want. Um, but other people aren't going to see it. Okay. It's me and you. So you are going to get your questions answered, and that's guaranteed. All right. So the modules, again, to review, you're going to get the modules to watch at your convenience. You're going to have the live options. You can ask your questions live, and you're going to get unlimited coaching through the course. You got me. Like, I'm on your team with this. I want to help you. So go over happymarriagesecurecheckout.net and join now, right? You can say, once you join, you can send your first question to me right away. I'll answer it. Okay. All right. And go ahead and send me a message when you sign up. So bonus 3, guys, this is one that I am most looking forward to doing with you guys. So now I'm getting more requests for my one-on-one sessions than I can actually accommodate, which is good in a way, right? It means there's interest and that people are getting help and they want more help. But it also means, I only have so many hours in a day. So my goal is to help as many marriages as possible. Okay. And that's what this course helps me do. It really refines the knowledge that I've gained through my own marriage, helping other couples to really see what are those skills, right? And break it down and really teach you those. So, but listen, guys, I love working one-on-one with individuals and couples. I love it. It is really fun for me. I enjoy it. And so for members of this course, I offer select office hours where you can get one-on-one help for your specific marriage situation based on the skill of the week. Okay. So you can, this is the way that you're going to be able to work one-on-one with me is by joining this course, signing up for the office hours. Okay. It allows for private, specialized help for your specific situation. Again, it's private. No one else is going to see it. So, this is a big bonus, right? That you're going to be able to get that one-on-one help. So go ahead, jump over to the link right now. It's in the chat. You can click on it there at happymarriage.securecheckout.net. It's not checkout, it's like checkout.net. It's a little bit kind of weird, but so guys, join now. You're going to get an email right away, and you can schedule a session like right now and jump on with me. I'd love to work with you, love to help you. All right. So one more thing, right? I'm confident you're going to get the skills that you need for a happy marriage through this program. I've worked with enough couples. I've worked on my own. I know this is what works. Okay. You're going to feel more equipped than you ever have to create a strong, joyful, and intimate marriage. Okay. That's what's going to happen. I can't guarantee it's going to change your wife, right? I can't guarantee it's going to change the other person. Okay? If you guys are working on this together, yes, like things are going to get better. They just will. Okay. If you're doing it on your own, which is what most people that sign up for the program, that's their situation. I can't guarantee it's going to change her, but I guarantee it is going to change you 100%. No question about it. You're going to be a stronger, more attractive, more confident man. You're going to stop worrying so much about all of this. All right, I got a message here. I'm in. Yes, love it. Okay, I will see you in there. See you in the program. Jump into a one-on-one session. All right. So yeah, listen, it's gonna change you. Okay, you will be stronger. You will be more confident. All right. So if you do the work in the course, okay, and you don't feel like it was worth your $1,000 investment, all right, no problem. You get your money back. Just do the work. Right. That's all I'm asking. Okay, you can't come in here and not do anything and then ask for your money back. That's not fair to yourself. It's not fair to me, right? It's not fair to anybody. So you're not going to get results by not doing anything. These are skills. Okay, you don't learn to play the piano by watching a video about playing the piano. Okay, you learn the piano or you learn to play a sport by getting out and doing it. So same principle here. If you go out, you do the work, you practice things, you get the coaching, you don't feel it's worth your investment, no problem. Get your money back. So I'm not going to say no questions asked because if you don't get the results, I really want to know how to make the program better. So I will ask you that. If you're like, oh, it just didn't work for me, I really want to know. That's extremely valuable to me. I want to know if it didn't work. Okay. So guys, I'm taking on the risk here. So visit Happy Marriage, that's securecheckout.net, and I will see you there. Come join these other folks who are joining now. Now these guys are leaders, they're action takers. They're going to get the results. So jump into that too. That's taking leadership of your life and your results. All right, so as a review, guys, you get the education you need. You get 6 weeks of modules to show you the exact skills and tools you need for a happy marriage. You learn about communication, trust, time management, emotional management, and sex. Those are the skills. Okay? You're going to get the coaching to speed up your results, unlimited email coaching to get every question you have answered privately. You're also going to get one-on-one help, office hours. So you have the chance to check in with me, one-on-one help with you or you and your spouse if you're doing it together. Okay, either way. And you get the money back guarantee, guys. So you do the work, you're going to be more skilled, guaranteed, feel stronger, feel confident, know how to make relationships work. It's huge, guys. It's not just going to help your marriage. Once you learn how to have great relationships, it's going to help with your kids. It's going to help with your work. Okay, all of that. If you can understand the people around you, express yourself in a clear way, get to things that work for both of you, you are golden. Your life's going to change. All right, so jump over to that link, guys. Happy Marriage, that's securedcheckout.net. Be that man of action. Be a leader. Send me a message when you do sign up. All right. So, guys, this is just a review of everything that you get. So I told you you'd have a chance to ask your questions. So anybody have a question that they would like answered right now? What I'm going to ask you to do is share your screen, or sorry, not share your screen, but raise your hand. There's going to be a button on there that says raise hand, and I will get to you. All right. So somebody's asking, like we've already tried counseling or therapy, so what if this doesn't work? Okay, so counseling and therapy, a lot of times they're built on this idea that, uh, basically that your wife has to change for you to be happy, or it says, just ask for what you want more, right? It- just tell her what you want more. It doesn't work again because of what we talked about. Like if she says no, then your power is gone. So what we're working on doing is figuring out, defining what you want from your relationship, going towards that, right? And then, um, you know, deciding what you will do if that doesn't happen. Okay. All right. So we've got a question here.
like usually how long does it take before she'll gain my trust back? And I
Right.
mean, I
Good
know there's
question.
no set time. I know
Yeah.
there's no set time.
And this is a good question. It's a common one, right? How long does it take, right, to rebuild trust? If you are, in this situation where you have, you know, broken trust or haven't prioritized over time. So you can, like, this course is 6 weeks, right? You're going to learn the skills in that time. You can turn things around, you, quickly in terms of understanding what you're doing wrong and approaching it in a way that is much more useful. Um, Depending on how severe it is, what I've seen is for, guys where it's been like years and years of not paying attention, if you can really turn things around consistently for like 3 months, that's usually enough, but it has to be very consistent. So sometimes it takes longer than that. If there's been like an affair, for her to really trust you again, I usually say, around a year of consistently different behavior. Now, can it happen faster than that? 100%. Because if you really show that you understand how you hurt her, that's the part a lot of guys skip and don't understand, right? Is really deeply understanding how they hurt her, really deeply understanding how you are a villain, how you are not showing her the type of man she wants to be with. Okay. Like most guys don't get that or don't do it deep enough. But if you can really do that deep enough, you can turn things around, pretty quickly. It can go faster than that for sure. The gentleman that you saw in his video, right? It was a few months, but again, they're recovering from multiple affairs. She had an emotional affair, right? This other guy on the screen that you're seeing here, he and his wife were separated. He had multiple affairs. They were able to get things back in 8 weeks. That's a much faster example. It doesn't always go that fast, but like it depends how much your wife's willing to work on it. It depends how deep you feel the changes in yourself. And again, the other thing is that question is still kind of sending you down the wrong track, right? Which is the track of trying to change her. Okay. As long as you're trying to change her, she's going to sense that, and she is not going to be as open to trusting you or being with you. Once she senses and feels that that internal change has happened, that you're changing for you, that you're building yourself up, that you are becoming the type of man that she wants to be with, whether she stays with you or not, okay, whether she comes back to you or not, whether she has sex with you or not, when you're committed to that, again, guys, it's really counterintuitive, but once you're committed to that, she senses it. And that's when she starts feeling like she can bring it back. So the sooner you make that internal change, the sooner things will get better. All right. So yeah, love to have you in the program. We're going to walk through this. You're going to get my support, be able to ask those questions. Other questions. So let's see here. And what we're going to have you do now actually is if you have a question, go ahead and type it directly in the chat and I'll get to it. So another question I'm getting here, what if my wife doesn't take the course with me? Again, for most of the folks that I work with, most of the guys I work with, that is the case. Their wife isn't doing it with them. So it's kind of geared towards that. If she is taking it with you, that's great because you can both work on it together. It can go a little bit faster. Okay, let's see here. When are the live calls? So live calls, again, they'll be Mondays at this time, 10 a.m. Pacific. If you can't watch them, no problem. They're recorded. You can also send your questions in beforehand to make sure they get answered. You'll know what the topic is for the week each time, and we'll kind of go from there. All right. So what if I have technical issues or I'm not tech savvy? Good question. If you can get on this call, that's about as tech savvy as you need to be. the the emails are going to be sent to you. They're going to have the modules to look at. We do use Google Documents for a lot of it, so you may want to create a Google account. That'll make things a little bit easier to do that. And of course, if you have any technical issues, you can send an email to support@mikefraziermd.com. You'll get that information there as well. Okay. So let's see. So will this still help if I'm waiting, uh, if I'm, already separated? So yeah, we walk through that, how that's going to work. Another one came up here. What about an affair? For sure, we cover that. What if I'm, looking at divorce? Yes, we cover all those things. All right. Can I take this course with my wife? Yeah, 100%. And you don't have to buy it like a separate one to do that or anything like that. Let's see. What if I have a question or need support during the course? For sure. That's why I have the unlimited email support. It's there for you, right? I'm here for you. I'm going to help you through this. Okay, and how soon after purchase will I get access to the course materials? So you're going to get a new module each week. Again, I don't want to overload you with modules. I want you to do one thing at a time so you focus on implementation. Okay, but you're going to get the first thing instantly. You get it, you get the email, you're going to get all the information right there for the first one, and then the next week you'll be able to you'll get the next module the next week. And so we'll teach it live on Monday. Then the recording will go out, and you'll get that. All right. So head over to that link, guys. I'm excited to. I'm looking forward to seeing you inside there, and yeah, stay strong, man. We will see you soon, and hopefully they're inside the program. So you can learn these skills, create that marriage that you've been wanting. You can get it. Okay, you can get it. All right, guys. Have a great day. We'll see you inside.